السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. أما بعد، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذ قال موسى لفتاه. Last night we discussed the importance of the holy land of Al-Najaf al-Ashraf and its relation with Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, Adam and Nuh alayhim afdal as-salati was-salam. Now tonight, in continuation with this prophetic theme, and insha'Allah for the whole 10 nights, tonight's topic is going to be on the awsiya of prophets. More specifically, I want to focus tonight on Yusha Bin Nun. But we will touch, insha'Allah, on a few other awsiya. To start this topic, we must dissect it step by step, starting with number one. Are the awsiya mentioned in the Holy Quran, or are they exclusive to hadith? Number two, what is the relationship between Musa and Yusha Bin Nun, his successor? Number three, what is the history and the biography of Yusha Bin Nun, and how can we see it through the life of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? And finally, number four, and the most important point tonight, insha'Allah, are all these awsiya born on tawheed, or are they born on shirk and then they come back? Let us start this topic, insha'Allah. Rasulullah had how many awsiya? 12. Yeah? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi mentions a hadith where he says, my awsiya are 12, all from Quraysh. The first is Ali, the last is Al-Mahdi. Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Okay. Now, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam is the first wasi of Rasulullah. He's mentioned in the Quran, wouldn't you agree? Ayatul Walaya, Ayatul Tathir, Ayatul Mubahala. And according to narrations, over 300 verses in the Holy Quran revealed in relation to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. For example, the night of the Hijrah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Ali ibn Abi Talib. But are there other awsiya mentioned in the Holy Quran for other prophets? Forget Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam and his sons. Put them aside. Is the wasi of Sulaiman one mentioned in the Quran? Surah An-Naml, verse 40. If you want, open it right now. Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam says to his people around him, who can bring me the throne of the Queen of Sheba? Why? Queen of Sheba is where? Yemen. He's in Palestine. She's on her way to Palestine. He asks them, who can bring me her throne? Because she's on her way. Let me prove to her the existence of Allah through a miracle. A jinn among them, Afritun min al-jinn, says, O Prophet of Allah, allow me to bring it to you. I'll bring it to you before you can get up from this space. قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب, said the one with some knowledge of the book, I will bring it to you before you can blink your eye. Who is this man? Asif bin Barkhiyya, the wasi of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Now they came to Imam al-Baqir one day and they asked him, how much knowledge does the wasi of Sulaiman, Asif bin Barkhiyya, have? He said, this knowledge of the book that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to here, and he says Asif has some of it, is split up into 73 parts. Asif has one of 73. Then he continues. Isa and Simon, his wasi, have this amount. Musa and Yusha Bin Nun have this amount. Then he gets to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and he says, as for my grandfathers, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and Ali ibn Abi Talib, they have 72 of 73 parts. This is the level of knowledge that the wasi of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi has. Now, that's the wasi of Sulaiman. Other verses in the Quran that relate to other awsiya, now I want to focus completely on Yusha Bin Nun. For example, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, verse 10, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. They came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi one day and they asked, who are these sabiqun? The verse translates, the foremost in faith are the foremost to paradise. They said, who are these sabiqun? They said, is it the muhajirun? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi replied, as-sabiquna thalath. The foremost are three. Amma as-sabiq li Musa. As for the foremost to Musa alayhi salam, Yusha bin Nun. وأما السابق لعيسى مؤمن آل ياسين. As for the foremost to Isa alayhi salam, it is the believer of Al Yasin, who is Habibun Najjar, who is found in Christianity and in our hadiths. And he was one of the disciples of Isa alayhi salam, by the way. And as for أما السابق لمحمد صلى الله عليه وآله علي بن أبي طالب. As for the foremost to Muhammad صلى الله عليه وآله, it's Ali ibn Abi Talib. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Now, that's one verse that describes the relationship of Yusha bin Nun with Musa. He is what? The foremost to him. Another verse, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ. Fatahu means what? Young assistant. If Musa said to his young assistant, that's the second verse that describes his relationship with Musa alayhi salam. He was his young assistant and he was the foremost to him. Therefore, Musa made him his successor. Same way Ali ibn Abi Talib was the first to Rasulullah and also his young assistant, because realistically Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam was the first to pray with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And I'll get into that in a second. As for Yusha bin Nun, we said, can we see his history in the biography of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Yes. The day of Ghadir is what day in the Islamic calendar? 18th of Dhul Hijjah, yeah? 18th of Dhul Hijjah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi lifted up the hand of Amir al-Mu'mineen and said, what? أَنَا مَنْ كُنْتُ مَوْلَاهُ فَهَذَا عَلِيٌّ مَوْلَاهُ. Amir al-Mu'mineen, they ask him, how were the events of the day of Ghadir one day? And he gives a sermon about the day of Ghadir, its importance, how he felt, the verses in the Quran that were revealed about this day. But then before he begins, he says one thing. يوم الغدير هذا يوم يوشع بن نون. The day of Ghadir is the day of Joshua son of Nun. Why? Because on this day Musa made Yusha bin Nun his successor. Another one. When they were both made successors, both of them had to fight for their leadership against three people from the ummah of their prophets that instantly assumed leadership. Further than that, both lived 30 years after their prophet. Someone's going to say, that's fine, that's a coincidence. But is it a coincidence when both of them are struck on the 19th of Ramadan and then both of them die on the 21st? And even further than that, you have the prophecy of Al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Al-Sharif. What did we say? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the last of his awsiya will be Imam Al-Mahdi. And the first will be Ali ibn Abi Talib. Musa alayhi salam promised his people a person that will come and resolve the injustice at that time. Not a Messiah. Not Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam. No. But his 12th wasi will come and restore the justice in the land. Who was this person? He also had a mini ghaiba from his people because no one knew him. This is Dawood alayhi salam. How did Dawood save Bani Israel? Mentioned in the Torah, mentioned in the Bible, mentioned in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 251. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِذْ وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودُ جَالُوتَ. And David killed Goliath. Goliath is who? Who's Jalut? Huge man, warrior. At the time, victor of the Arabs, general, had his whole army preparing to attack Jerusalem, where the people of Bani Israel lived. Who saved them? Dawood alayhi salam. Then he would go on to inherit the king of the time, and his son Sulaiman would inherit his kingdom. But now to the main point. We spoke about Yusha Bin Nun, we spoke about Asif bin Barkhiyya, we spoke about Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. 3 different awsiya. We even mentioned Simon, the wasi of Isa alayhi salam. But are all of them born on Tawheed? Because we know, a Shia principle is that every prophet, parents on Tawheed, born Tawheed, live Tawheed, die Tawheed, is the same for their awsiya? Because otherwise, why are we pushing so hard for Ali ibn Abi Talib? He was born on Tawheed, parents on Tawheed, died on Tawheed, lived on Tawheed. We need an infallible man to represent an infallible man. Yusha Bin Nun, 100%. Born on Tawheed, died on Tawheed. Was someone who ruled by Tawheed. What do we say in Ziyarat Warith? You hear it a lot these days, the 10 days of Muharram. لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها أو أبا عبد الله. Jahiliyyah has never touched you with its impurities at all. This line applies to every single wasi of every single prophet, and especially the man born in the Kaaba, especially the man who lifted the gates of Khaybar, especially the man who was the first man to pray with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, even before Salah was made wajib. This man, why are we pushing for him? This man is Ali ibn Abi Talib, the wasi of the greatest prophet alive, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. أقول قولي هذا والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره ومن المستشهدين من بين يديه. وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.